Hi everyone! Today we have another exciting workshop from OpenGL team, deploy, scale, and serve million users with Polkadot's Rollup infrastructure for Polkadot Scalability Hackathon. For those who have been following all the workshop series, so this is the part of the Polkadot Scalability Hackathon. For those who are tuning in as the first time, perhaps you just registered to the hackathon. We have all the workshops have been done and gonna come more. So check it out, our YouTube playlist and also Discord channel. If you didn't sign up to the hackathon yet, just tuning into the workshop, you need to register to get all the updates. And if you're in Discord, please go to the channel and roll how to opt into the Polkadot role so you can ask questions to our amazing partner. Today, Tin from OpenGL is going to be joining us, as said, to give a workshop about Polkadot's rollup infrastructure. Let me invite our speaker to the stage. I can see Tin is getting ready. Cool. Hi, Tin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay.
Amazing. And great microphone. Would you share your screen?
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, nice. We can see your screen. Okay, let's get started. So, Tin, floor is yours, and everyone enjoy the workshop.
All right, yeah, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Hello all the hackers joining the workshop today, and I'm really glad to be here to present the OpenGL and also present the Polkadot community to share about deploy, scale, and serve million user with Polkadot rollup infrastructure. And I think that this is a very interesting topic for anyone who build the parachain, or you just get started learning about blockchain or build a rollup. So this is the workshop for you because I'm gonna break it down into the two part in the agenda. The first one gonna be I go through the theory a bit so that you can understand why you should be on Polkadot and what is the key magic, what is the key attribute of Polkadot that you should be on. And the second part of it, that's gonna be I'm gonna use a tool called PopCY that allow you to deploy and register a new parachain on Polkadot. So let's begin. Okay, so hello everyone, and again, I'm Tin, and I'm a developer relation lead at OpenGL. If you want to learn more about me, feel free to visit jumantin.com. About OpenGL, so OpenGL, you might find this name familiar or not, but anyway, so OpenGL is a community in Southeast Asia that we established this for any web builders who interested in building on Polkadot, learn about the Polkadot SDK, learn about building a smart contract on Polkadot, or you just basically want to connect with enthusiastic people who have the same interests, who have the same passions in building blockchain, building on Polkadot like you. So just join OpenGL, and we have a whole community with all the resources prepare to help you onboard on Polkadot. So let's learn about So in OpenGL, we prepare a lot of resources. For example, the Open Polkadot Bootcamp, or also a lot of small tutorials that prepare you to be ready building on Polkadot. We also have an ecosystem educational database that lists all the resources that we think is beneficial to the builder on Polkadot. So if you just visit learn.opengl.wtf, and you're gonna find all the resources listed here. So here the bootcamp that one of the community member of OpenGL repair last year. So it's the building on PolkaVM, or basically just Polkadot Hub. And I think if you already register for this hackathon, you might be already familiar with Polkadot Hub and writing EVM Solidity smart contract and deploying PolkaVM. And if you want to learn more about PolkaVM Solidity, just visit this Open Polkadot Bootcamp PolkaVM on YouTube, and we list all the resources here for you to watch, and it's 100% open source and free. So before I go to why you should be on Polkadot, let's break down the development pathway on on Polkadot, because like Polkadot is a base layer of like layer 0, different from like other like layer 1 protocol. So Polkadot like, has a few different pathways for as a developer for you to build on. For example, like first it's going to be like parent development, smart contract development, and application development, which is like parent is the lowest level, smart contract is on top of it, and applications is the decentralized application build that interacting with the smart contract. And depend on like your strength, you can like choose, and also like your business logic, how complexity, or like how you want like how do you need like the technology to serve it. Just choose like the path that you're gonna build on. But today we just mainly focus on like parent development, and most of the things that I cover in this today workshop is just mainly about like parent development. So building on Polkadot, or basically, I can say like building a parent on Polkadot is like you design a game cartridge and then plug it to the Polkadot game console for it to run. And that's how easy it is to develop a new blockchain using like Substrate, Polkadot SDK, and deploy on Polkadot. The reason behind that, because like Polkadot is the infrastructure solution developed for the resilient Web2 applications. And what does that mean, like resilient? Sorry. So let's go back a bit about in our like, Web2 industry. So we have like a very big guy called Amazon Web Service. So if you're a developer and you already like build the application, deploy it on the cloud, you might be like familiar with Amazon Web Service, because I think like this infrastructure is already like the standard of the industry. So, and right now like Amazon like occupy most of the share of the cloud infrastructure market over the world. So up to now, there's around like 200 solutions built on like Amazon Web Service, with like, for example, like the storage solutions, telemetry service, also like a database, a distributed database on Amazon Web Service, and it served more than 1 million users across like 190 countries. And for Polkadot, the goal of Polkadot is also like become the Amazon Web Service for Web3. And with that in mind, scalability also like one of the top goals of Polkadot infrastructure. Recently, there's an experiment called the spamming. It's happened on like Polkadot Kusama. If you're not familiar with Kusama yet, so Kusama is a canary network. So before like deploying on Polkadot, which like cost you real money, like real dot token, which is like much higher than Kusama. Than Kusama token. So you can just basically like deploy on Kusama. The benefit of deploying on Kusama is that Kusama is far ahead of Polkadot in terms of features. So most of like the new features before deploying on Polkadot, it's gonna be like deployed on Kusama first for testing, and then like when it's already stable enough, it's gonna be deployed on Polkadot. So if you want to use like new features, you can like just deploy Kusama, use the new feature to test your solution first. And here are some key metric after the experiment. So like 143,000 batch transaction per second at 23% capacity of the network, and which is like a very impressive number. And also like 10,000 non-batch transaction per second at 15% capacity, and up to like 600,000 max transaction per second at 100%, which is like a very impressive number. Before I go to this slide, I want just to mention that like this 10,000 non-batch transaction per second here is used up to like 100 available core on Polkadot Kusama network. And this one is also like use up to like 100 core, but like the throughput is the maximum throughput. And you might question is, what is like 100 available core here, and what does that mean? So a Polkadot is basically a multi-core infrastructure. It's not just like one single core. And what is the multi-core technology? So just imagine like Bitcoin is the evolution of the blockchain, right? And it's a very first blockchain that we know. And Ethereum is a decentralized global computer, but you can like imagine like Ethereum is like a single core blockchain. Meanwhile like Polkadot is multi-core, So if you need like to scale on to scale your infrastructure, you want to scale your applications, just simply buy more core, because core on Polkadot is like the resource that your application wants to use. So if you need more resource, just simply buy more core, and that is the easiest ways to get to scale your blockchain that deploy on Polkadot. And I also like gonna have like the demo like how to buy a core on Parcel network, the testnet of Polkadot as well. Yeah, so core on Polkadot is basically yeah, it's similar to like the core in the single computer, and it's allow you to acquire the block space of the blockchain network, or I can say like acquire like the computing power, the resources on the Polkadot blockchain, or it's also like we can call it the block space. And here also like some key metric from the spamning about utilizing with different number of cores. So here like we have like the spamning rollups that utilizing 22 cores, and this one is utilizing 15 cores, and you can see like the number here is significantly increased based on the number of cores that you acquire and assign to your rollups. A few other benefits of the Polkadot rollups is can be listed as the share security. So instead of having to build a whole validator network with a complex consensus mechanism for security, so rollup change only need a few nodes for block collisions, and the rest will be handled by the relay change. So cross-chain messaging. So any parachain deployed on Polkadot can communicate seamlessly with other parachain deployed on the same relay chain network. And that is the power of Polkadot, because it's used like the inside messaging protocol called SCMP, and there are like language standard called ECM that allow any parachain to communicate with each other easily. And substrate compatibility. So if you're already like familiar with like front-end development, which is more common than blockchain development, right? And you might know about the React framework. So in React framework, reason why people choose React, because like it have like a very rich ecosystem of libraries, and any front-end applications they build, they can they can packaging or the front-end logic, or like packaging or the front-end design into like one single component and share it with other project. And in that way, it makes like React become a very rich ecosystem of libraries. And this also apply the same with the substrate, because like substrate is has like one of the biggest community like for in blockchain development. And any like blockchain they build, they're gonna like build a new palette, and basically like any palette can be added to another blockchain network to reuse like all the logic of that palette, and that's how amazing substrate is. So here is Polkadot as the interoperability hook. I already mentioned about ECM, but here this is more specific about like how like this network deployed on Polkadot can like communicate with each other, and to like the native interoperability layer called ECMP as a protocol. So question from most of the hacker is this hard building a brand new parachange? Before like 2025, the answer to this is yes. It's extremely hard to build a new blockchain, or I can say building a new parachange. But like in 2025, the answer is no. Like it's extremely easy to do that. And here's a few like different deployment steps for any like parchain team on any like hackers to just follow and deploy a new parchain network. And I'm gonna like share with you my terminal. Here I have the terminal that I want to introduce to you guys the tool called PubCY. Okay. So PopCUI is the command line interface, an all-in-one tool for like Polkadot development. It's built by Rogue, like also like a project team that I'm working for, and it is a very amazing tool. And this tool gonna allow you to deploy on Polkadot easily. So to install like PopCUI, you're gonna like follow this guide, cargo install and PopCUI. And after running the command, ensure that like on your local, you already have Rust installed because this requires Rust. But yeah, on your local, after you install, when you run like pop version, and you're gonna find like the version of PopCUI. And here I'm using like the PopCUI 0.60, but you can either use the latest version of the PopCUI. So after install, and ensure that like it's already on your local, and ensure that it's already like on your local, then we're gonna go to like one of the parent project. So here I'm already in one of the parent project on PopNode. But like if you not familiar with the parent code base yet, you can like run like pop new, and using like the pop new command, you can run like pop new parent. And this pop new parent gonna ask you to choose to pick a template, for example like parody or like a pop template. So let's say like I choose like pop template, and this is gonna be like standard asset contract EVM. Depend on the template that you choose, it's gonna repair your change with the functionality of the template. For example, like for the standard, it's basically just a standard change. Doesn't have any like advanced functionality for the for this change template. But like for the asset change, so this change is basically configured with fungible and non-fungible asset functionality that allow you to manage the tokens. Also manage the NFT. And let's say I choose the asset pair change. It's going to ask me to select a specific release. So this is the version of the Polkadot SDK that you want to choose for your template. I'm going to choose the Polkadot stable 2412. And where should your project be created? Then I'm going to specify the path to encode Rollup pair change. The unit of symbol of your pair change token. So I just use the default value. And after running the command, you're gonna see like this person is already like ready to for hacking. So you can go to like encode club pair change, and you have like your pair change ready with the node and also like the runtime. And this pair change template is also actually like can be deployed already as on like any kind of network. Now we're gonna try to deploy it. I'm gonna go back to the pop node because I already have this one built, so I can like easily deploy it. So to deploy it, you're gonna run pop-up. First, before I show you like how to deploy it on the actual network, I'm gonna show you like how to simulate the network and then deploy this one on this simulated network. So to simulate the network with a tool called ZumpyNet under the hood, so you're gonna specify like the network and also like the TOM file. This TOM file can be found on the PopDoc. So this one is the documentation of PopCUI that you can find how to deploy, how to set up the local environment for the pair change. So here like launch a change, and here is gonna have like the documentation to deploy a change, and also here like how to launch a chain to parcel the testnet of Polkadot, or just simply like launch a chain in development. Then you're gonna have like the TOM file, and you just simply copy it to any TOM file and to any like file.tom. So I go to network and then devnet. Here I already have the example TOM file, and I don't create it again. But yeah, so just reuse that and then run like pop-up network with the TOM file. And it's gonna launch a local network. Then it's gonna ask you to source the binary, just simply like yes, and it's automatically let's all the needed binary for you to deploy. So now let's go back here and learn a bit about this this TOM file. Here you have like the relay change and the pair change. So the relay chain is the model change, or we can also say that it's a hook that like any pair chain gonna like connect to. And here you like to specify the pair change, you're gonna have like the pair chain gonna have its own ID. And with like the tool, like the pop gonna automatically reserve this pair chain ID on the local network. Now we go back and we see like this pair change is already launched. The whole like relay chain pair chain network is already like, launched on local. Now let's check, go to like Polkadot.js and see like, if this if I can like connect to this network. And you can see like now my blockchain network is already like producing, trying to produce like new block every like 6 seconds based on the configuration of the runtime. Now let's say I have so this network currently this local parcel network currently only have like one pair change, actually like two pair change, the pop network and the asset hook network. You can check that in the pair change, and you can find that there's actually like two pair change here, with the 1000 stand for asset hook and for 4001 stand for pop network. So let's say that I want to reserve and also like deploy a new pair change on this local network. How can I do that? I'm gonna go to the developer net. Let's say I go to the encode club, the one that we just like created like a few minutes ago, and now I run like pop-up, and this is gonna ask me like select the deployment method. We don't like talk about this Polkadot deployment portal yet, but just go to the register, and you're gonna enter the relay chain node URL. Here you're gonna pick the relay chain node URL. You can pick like one of these node. So these are like the node of the relay chain change, and just copy from Alice node, and it's gonna ask you like, would you like to use the pure proxy for registrations? And you can this is the best practice, so you can simply like click yes, or basically just select no. There is gonna open like a signing portal for you to connect the wallet and sign in. Oh, my account actually doesn't have any token yet, so I'm gonna try to send a few tokens to this network. Some main wallet, and I'm gonna send 100. Maybe I'm gonna try to set for set the balance. So Alice is the super user of the blockchain network. I'm gonna set, go to like a sudo balances, and then I first set the balance of the main wallet to maybe give it as much as we can, so that we can also like register the parachute later. So after sending the token, after setting the balance of the wallet, now go back here and we're gonna find yeah. So okay, so this wallet currently have like 100,000 unit, and is can reserve this new ID. You may wonder like, what is like reserving purchase ID means? So go back here and go to the purchase, and you can find like there's a list of purchase listed here, and the idea of reserving the purchase ID is basically like you reserving that ID, so like no, like other people cannot like take that ID from you. And submitting the transactions. Here's the signing successful. So the POPs are ready to submit the transaction, and we can close the tab and go back to the terminal. And you can see like on the terminal, it's submitting the extrinsic and waiting for finalization. Okay, so after running the command, you can find like there's an event emitted called reserve, and the new parachain ID 2000 is already reserved on the network. With this is the owner of the parachain ID, and here Sile successfully reserved the ID of the parachain. We go back to the substrate portal and go to the parachain. Actually, let's go to the extrinsics. State. We're gonna check like the storage whether like this is already been reserved, and we're gonna provide it 2000. And on, as you see like on the on our local relay change, this on our local relay change, this parachain ID is already reserved with this deposit. Now it's asked us to provide the chain specifications, so let's provide that. And the path to the chain spec here is choose the relay change that we'll be connecting to. So as we are running on Pasa local, so let's select like Pasa local and enter the protocol ID. I will just use the default value, my protocol. And would you like to use the local host as a boot node? So maybe no. Would you like to build the runtime deterministically? If you build your parachain for productions, so it's a good practice. It's a good practice to build your runtime deterministically, and there's a documentation about like building the runtime deterministically that you can find on the Polkadot as well. Let's see here. Then you can read more about like building the runtime deterministically. But here I just because I'm building the runtime deterministically, it's gonna take you a while, maybe like around like 10-15 minutes, and this is not like fit to the time span of this workshop. And also like this one require like Docker and Podman. So if you don't have like these containerization solutions, so remember to download like Docker or Podman first. So you can like simply like download Docker by searching like Docker and go to Docker and download like Docker desktop if you're using like macOS. I'm not familiar with Windows, but as here you can like find all the options to download the Docker on your desktop. For Podman, just you simply like search for Podman, go to Podman, and you can also like find the option to install Podman on your macOS as well if you're using macOS. Okay, now go back and I select no. Now it's building the chain spec, and it's gonna take you a while because it's also require your node and your runtime to be built. So it's gonna take you a while. While we are waiting for this, so if you have any questions, so feel free to ask me by sending the question in the chat sections, and I'm gonna try to answer that. Okay, so while we're waiting for this, let's go to the documentations and let's say like if you choose when they ask you when like the CUI asks you if you want to use the proxy for deployment, I also like show you here like how you can also like call to the network to create a new proxy for your account and use that as the best practice for your deployment. If you're not familiar with the proxy, so in the documentation, it's also explained like why you should use the proxy as well. So simply speaking, so like using a proxy is a more secure way because you can limit the permissions, limit the asset of the proxy on the specific action instead of like using your your wallet directly, and then it access to all the things of the deployment. And also there's a more benefit than that. So just remember reading the documentation. So let's say like, if we want to create a new proxy account, we're gonna use the pub call. In the pub call, there's two subcommand called pub call change and pub call contract. So the pub call change is basically call to a change or call to a parent change. And pub call contract is basically like sending a call request to a contract. So let's say I call the pub call change, and here is ask you like which chain would you like to interact with. I'm gonna provide the same. Where's my network? I'm gonna provide the same Alice node that I inputted before. Okay, so after entering the URL to the relation node, it's gonna ask you like what you would like to do. Like you can also like, purchase an on-demand call time, but we're gonna learn about this later. But here we're gonna create a new pure proxies. So our pure proxies, we only want to limit the access to parent registration. So we can like just select like parent registrations and enter the value of the parameter delay. Can choose like 0, index 0, and select no. Do you want to use your browser wallet to sign extrinsic? Select yes, and it's gonna pop up the signing portal again for you to sign the transactions. Back here. And then it's going to ask you to sign the transactions. Click submit. Make sure like your account already like deposited with the fund, with sufficient fund to create a new pure proxy. So signing successful. Then you can also close the signing portal. Go back. Go back here. And then you see like the pure proxy is already created, and you can also find like the pure proxy created here to the event. So this is the pure proxy account. You can save it somewhere. I'm gonna send it here in the chat sections, and this is like my account. Then you can like just choose no, like I don't want to perform any other call. Then we go back. Let's wait for this node to be built. It's already like halfway. Like yeah, it's maybe like gonna take another 5 minutes for this to be built successfully. And now let's go back to the documentations. So what we haven't covered yet. So let's assume like the chain is already built and you want to acquire the core time. And we're gonna talk a bit about the core time. So is it the core time? File the core time documentation here. So the core time is basically the core that I just cover in like the theory slide. It's similar to the CPU core. So it's like if you want to access to the resources of the Polkadot network, you have to acquire a new core. And the more core you have, the more resources you have, or resources here equal to the computing power or the storage bandwidth, something like that. To acquire the new core, here like in the Polkadot wiki is explained quite well, like what is the core time and why do we need core time, and also like the mechanic behind the core time. So if you want to learn more about the core time, visit this documentation to learn more about it. But here I just simply like explain that core time similar to the CPU core. If you want more resource, just buy more core. Go to the core time marketplace. Then you can also acquire more core. There's like currently there's two like common core time marketplace on Polkadot, but I'm more familiar with this side like region X. So on the region X that you can select like parcel, it's also like the network that we deploying. Just remember, this is not like the local network that we are working on, but I'm interacting with the parcel directly. So on like the purpose is to like guide you guys to like what is like the Corsa marketplace and how you can acquire new core on the Corsa marketplace. So on RegionX, their user interface show you like a few different tabs to, to manage the core. For example, like here when I go to like my regions, I remember I have like a few core on Parcel, but why I don't see it here? To buy a new core, you have to like just transfer from Parcel to Parcel Core Time. And here like on Parcel testnet, I have around like 189 Parcel. Meanwhile, I'm on Parcel Core Time, I have like 34 Parcel. So I want to transfer from the testnet, from the relay change to the Parcel Core Time. You have to transfer to the core time system person directly if you want to buy a new core. Let's say if I want to transfer 20 Parcel, and I click the transfer. And approve, you see like now my transaction is already in the block and waiting for a while for it to be finalized and added to the share state of the relay change. So now you see like the parcel core time is already have like 54 parcel, while like parcel testnet is decreased to like 189. Click on renew. I remember like I have like a few different core here. So let's try to renew. Before we renew, let's see if we can like buy a new core. So go to like purchase a core, and then you can find like some information about the core here. So like how many core that are offered for sale. There are currently like 5 core available for sale, and the number of cores sold is 0. An ideal core sold going to be 5. So let's say like if I want to purchase a core, oh, I think that the sale period is already start, so I cannot like purchase a core at this moment. So let's say like if you already purchased a core, you're gonna see that a new core in the my region's UI. And after a while, like, your core gonna be expired, and you have to renew a core. So like if I want to renew this core, oh, actually, I don't have like enough parcel to renew the core. But yeah, in theory, like when you click on it and you have enough parcel, you can like renew this core. Now let's see like if our node is already built successfully. It's quite bad like that my machine is already run out of storage, so I cannot build it successfully. Okay, I just cleaned up my machine, and then let's try to build a node again. So let's run pop-up, register, and then copy the same relation node that we have before. This time, let's make it different, that we use the pure proxy instead. Where was from? Yeah, I think like my machine right now is it's not good because it's run out of the storage space. So I have to clean up my machine if I want this functionality to work like seamlessly. Um, so need to wait for around like 30 seconds for it to clean up. Yeah, remember like, if you have any question, like, feel free to send in the chat sections. Yeah. Or if you basically just need more resources, need more like tutorial, any guides, just feel free ask me, and then I'm gonna send that to you. Okay, run the command again. Okay, so now like the node already start correctly, and I want to use the pure proxy for the registrations. If I'm correct, I have to create the pure proxy again because I already restart my simulated network. So let's go here, create a new pure proxy. Sign again, similar to like the previous step that we already follow. Now close the tab and go back. Oh, the account doesn't have any balance. Yeah, same as you like before. So we have to populate the account with like a few parcel. Go to the account. Let's set the balance of the account. Now let's check the balance of the current wallet. So we have 10,000 unit. Maybe like set more balance for it, just in case. So let's create a pure proxy again. Then have to go to the designing portal, sign in, and you can find it's submitting in transaction again. So give it 10 seconds, and it's gonna create the pure proxy for you. So here is ask like enter your pure proxy account or the account that the proxy will make a call on behalf of So basically, you can provide like either the who or the pure proxy, or basically either your wallet or the pure proxy, and then side this again. Um, oh yeah, I have to deposit to the proxy balance, the proxy account. So let's set the balance of the proxy. Yeah, when you use the pure proxy, it's gonna pay. It's the proxy going to be the one who pay for the transaction instead of the main wallet. So you have to set the balance of the proxy. Wait for the transaction to be added to the block. Okay, so now the pure proxy already have sufficient balance. It's going to assign each transaction to reserve a new parachain ID. Then we can close the tab and go back. Okay, and now our parachain is already reserved again. Here it's used 2000 because it's the new simulated network, so it can just reserve the same parachain IDs like the previous sections that we have. And now we provide the chain spec, def chain spec, pass a local. And this time it's gonna have to build the node and also like the runtime again. But it takes faster than before because we already like quite close to finish the building process, and we only like got an issue with the storage on my machine, so it can like just continue on the same stage that we had before. Okay, so let's say I want to acquire a new core time, and I'm gonna run like popcore change the URL and purchase on demand core time. Enter the value of the parameter account. XML one. Was spot price higher than max amount? Because the process of buying a core is basically like placing a bid instead of like buying it directly. So you have to just provide the amount that you want to place for a bid. And you see here that the code time is already be bought, um, and we can select no. And this already acquire the core, place the on-demand code time, place the order to buy the on-demand code time for the purchase ID the 2000. Now the only last step that we need to like deploy a new purchase is basically just wait for this node to be built. Most of the time, like when you develop a new package, the longest process is basically just building a node. That's the longest process. But aside from that, like I think that most of the experience building the package recently is quite smooth. It's better. It's much better than before because you have like a tool like PubCUI. When you like develop a like ECM application, you also have a few different tools like a Chopstick allow you to test as well. So there's like a lot of tool in Polkadot ecosystem already for you to like speed up your development process.
Hello, Tin. Can you hear me? I think you are not audible right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now,
yeah. Just forgot that I just turned off my mic.
yeah. I think you were like audible for a while, but at certain point you were not audible. So like a perhaps like a I don't remember exact moment, but perhaps you want to quickly like high level like a repeat of like perhaps last minute or something like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let me just quick go through this one again because I think like I just start talking again on these
Sounds
topics.
good.
Okay. All right, so let's just start again on this page. So this is the parachute deployment, um, the official documentation from Parity to deploy a parachute network. And actually, like most of the time, that you don't have to care about this documentation if you use the POPs UI, because POPs UI is already abstract all the complex logic of deploying a parachute away. So as a builder, you just simply use POPs UI and it's already handle all those for you, so you don't have to care about it. But let me just go through this step a bit, so you're gonna learn like um, how close like we are getting to our parachute deploy. Yeah, let's see, like we're getting there, like only the one last step. Okay, so the first one going to be reserving a parachute ID on Parcel. And as you remember, we already have like our parachute ID 2000 reserved on ParcelNet testnet, right? And we already finished this step with only like running a few commands. But actually, like, if you don't use like POPs UI and you have to go to like Polkadot.js app manually, you have to select the palette with register and then like, select the extrinsic reserve to reserve a new parachute ID. But like with POPs UI, you don't have to handle that. Okay, so I think like our node is built successfully and it's amazing. So now let's just go to our signing portal again. Oops. Go to the signing portal, and then we reserve. So the cost for reserve, oh, sorry, not reserve, but we register. So the cost for registering a new parachute ID is going to be around like 3,262. Most of it is the cost for like depositing a new storage, because like you need your node battery to be uh, on the Polkadot blockchain. So you need like to pay for the cost of the storage. And I think our proxy has sufficient balance to handle that. So just click submit and then approve, then we are good to go. Now go back and you see it's submitting this extrinsic to register a new parachute. Bam, and then you see like our parachute already registered. The registration is successful. Now we go to the relations and the parachute list. Then you go to the parachute and you can find like here the parachute that we just built, and it's already like ready to go. Now it's have to go through like a few different stage. Now it's at in the onboarding stage, and then later it's going to be assigned to one of the core that we already like purchased using like POPs UI. And then later than that, then our parachute is going to be ready to go, and then you're going to see like the parachute going to produce a new block. Yeah, but like to access to this parachute, you have to run like deploy the RPC node. Here, like there's a documentation for RPC deployment. So what is the RPC deployment? So an RPC node is a server that allows the external application to interact with the Polkadot chain. So this interaction is facilitated through a set of standardized API, which enable the execution of various operations. Yeah, so yeah, it's cover like most of the documentation here. And then you just follow this step to like deploy a new RPC, and then you can access to the blockchain that already like deployed on the Polkadot relay chain. Okay, so I think like that's cover all the things that we have in today's workshop about like deploying parachain. Yeah, it's take like a while for like the node to be built, and I hope that you that is not like bring you like bad experience, because to be honest, like there's a lot of knowledge in today's workshop, and luckily like we already cover all of them in like 1 hour. And That amazing to see like a new price change deploy on like the relay change. And what is like what's more than that, like just build and then deploy a new price change using like Pop CY. And then I hope like this workshop today is useful to your journey of participating to this hackathon and building during this hackathon. And I hope that to see like there's a more price change deploy at the end of the hackathon. And yeah, so let's start hacking. And thank you for listening to the workshop, and goodbye.
Thank you for the amazing workshop today. And as I announced in the channel, like those who watch this remotely, especially this workshop is happening at a different time than our usual time. So I can imagine a lot of you who usually tune in the evening classes may see this remotely. You always can ask questions on Discord server because OpenGale team has OpenGale John, and also team is like monitoring and answering questions. So if you have any questions, please update there. Otherwise, everyone stay tuned for new updates and check out all the bounties, and looking forward to see you in the next workshop. Thank you, team.
Thank you, and see ya.